Fun, man. Like I said, I didn't play at all, and I still had one of the best times of my life on that team. Like everybody's laughing, joking almost all the time, and then but we just had like a sense of like we knew, or like they knew. But when they got out on the floor, like we're about to go out, we're finna scrape whoever is out on the floor. We're not gonna let them score on us. Then we're gonna go out, we're gonna make the right play, we're gonna hit open shots. And so, like I said, it was just like every game we kind of just had like a good sense of like, oh, this is what it's gonna be, and we had like an expectation.
No,
and,
absolutely.
and that's how practices were ran as well. So there's a big expectation for everybody.
No.
I'm 3 hours away. You know what I'm on. Not much else to say. Girl, pick up the phone. You my favorite, baby. My song plays your ringtone. Tell you I could do no wrong. Love it when I'm coming home to you. Yeah, I'm in my zone.
Welcome back to the Mike on Mike podcast. I'm your host, Mike Robinson, and we're on the move again. We're back in Indiana with another edition of Mike on Mobile. We got Patrick Robinson here, my blood brother. Started his athletic career at UMSL in St. Louis, and he transitioned to Waubonsee Community College after that, and now he's playing this upcoming season at Purdue Northwest University. So let's give a shout out to Patrick Robinson.
Appreciate you.
We appreciate him for coming on the podcast, taking time out of this busy preseason schedule.
Yeah.
So how you doing today, brother?
Doing pretty good, man. You know, just going through the preseason right now, trying to get through things, you know, getting ready for the season.
No, for sure. So how's the new school treating you so far?
Doing good, man. Coaching staff is really down to earth, really liking them so far. Teammates are also super good. Just enjoying it right now. Like I said, it's a new situation back at the Division II level. But yeah, like I said, just going through preseason stuff right now, workouts, conditioning. So you know how that goes. But
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, enjoying it though, definitely.
No, for sure. So what's the transition like? I know you've only been up here for a month, but what's the transition like been basketball-wise since leaving JUCO?
I'd probably say the biggest thing probably is just the structure. Definitely more structure at the Division II level than what the specific JUCO I was at. Not saying it was a bad thing at JUCO. I think it was a good mixture of everything.
For sure.
Definitely the structure, the restrictions as well, like the NCAA rules and all that, like all the different things that they have us doing, like compliance forms and all that stuff is definitely more serious and in depth. But like I said, I've seen it before when I was at UMSL. But yeah, I'd probably say just biggest thing is structure for now.
No, for sure, 100%. So transitioning back to when you first picked up the basketball, when did you first realize that basketball could be more than just a sport?
I'd probably say around like probably middle school, 7th, 8th grade, probably when I started, you know, growing to my body a little bit more.
For sure.
And then started having a little bit more success on the court, probably 7th, 8th grade. And then I really got into like travel basketball 8th grade. And then going into high school, I started, you know, playing a little bit more city ball, like driving out to South Highland area, actually this area.
For sure.
Practices and stuff like that. But I think playing against a lot of different competition at that level, like at that age, I think I started to like enjoy it more and then start to figure like, oh, I'm starting to have a lot more success.
No, for sure. So at what age did you know you were going to be able to play at the next level?
I'd probably say around like 15, 16. I started working out with my trainer, Sam Franklin. Probably
Shout out Sam.
Yeah, probably going into I think it was going into my freshman year, and then consistently going into my sophomore year, and that's when I really started seeing results. And then, like I said, I started seeing a lot more success on the court, and then like against my peers and everything like that. So I think like probably like 15, 16, I was like, yeah, this is like really what I want to do.
No, 100%. So how did we as your family help you shape your approach to basketball and competition?
Definitely being like Pops always say, my biggest fans, but also my biggest critics. I think everybody, including you, have been like just really good at not letting me like stay grounded, allowing me to stay grounded at the same time. Like even when I was going through high school, going through all that success, like I know Dad would always tell me, "You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough." And then I didn't really understand it probably until like my junior, senior year that like there's levels to like this with basketball stuff. Like you got to really be on your grind if you want to just get to the next level, let alone play at the next level. But yeah, I think everybody helped me and supported me like perfectly growing up, make sure I'm at practices, supporting me being there, I think that was another big thing, was being at all my games and stuff like that. I think mom and dad did a really good job of like making sure that they were at games regardless of what they had going on. You know, we're Nebraska, all over the place, Kentucky, all types of places, and they're at games. So I think that played a really big part.
For sure. So going into your senior year, well, junior and senior year of high school, you had to deal with that COVID season.
Yeah.
Talk about that experience for us and like just playing through that.
It was probably like it was a lot of pros and cons about it. I kind of look at it as a good thing now, looking back on it, just of all the things I was able to go through and all the adversity I had to go through. But the COVID season sucked, man. With like my senior season or my junior season, I think we only played 14 games total, and then there was no fans. You had to play with masks on, so it was just like that was my first year playing on varsity. So like I didn't really get that like varsity basketball experience as a junior. So that also was a bummer. And then it also sucked for the seniors as well, like knowing that was the senior season that they got. And then like in terms of AAU, like we didn't really have a live period. Like we had maybe 2 live periods during that because of the COVID instead of now where there's like 5. So like we missed out, like the class of 22 missed out on a lot of like recruitment, I'd say. And then like going through it, like I said, playing with masks on, limited games, limited fans. So it was just, like I said, it was a lot. But I'm glad like I was able to go through it now and look back on it, because like now, like I said, I'm able to appreciate a lot, like playing games, like playing 30 games in a season. Like I'm not taking that for granted.
No, you can't. So transitioning, how was recruitment like after high school, since you were pretty much missing the whole season of film?
Yeah. That was probably the biggest thing that sucked about the COVID thing, was the recruitment. Because like beforehand, like I think COVID probably was my sophomore year. It was the end of my sophomore year going into my junior year. So that's kind of like when I had really like started like gaining ground with in terms of like just like getting write-ups and stuff like that. Like people started to like recognize my name and stuff like that, getting ranked and whatever the case may be. But yeah, like that was the worst thing. Like in terms of like coaches, I was talking to a lot of Division I coaches at the time going into my junior and senior year. And then because of COVID, they were giving a lot of schools, they were giving people their year back. So recruitment wise, a lot of coaches reached out and were like, yeah, we're our guy's coming back, like in your position, like he's coming back for his 5th year, he got it back for COVID, so we're not recruiting any high schoolers anymore. So a lot of that like affected my recruitment. So then that's kind of how I ended up sliding to the Division II route, because I just didn't want to have to deal with trying to play through my senior season, try and like play my heart out just to try and get an offer and like something like that. I'd rather just go with the school who really isn't invested in me. They already just showed that they wanted to be with me, like they wanted me to go to their school. So that's how I ended up going that route. And then, but like I said, that's all because of COVID, I believe.
No, for sure. So what was the transition from high school basketball to college basketball for you? Was it a difficult transition, or would you say you were kind of like, okay, I belong here?
I had a difficult transition. I can't lie about it. I feel like defensively was the biggest thing for me when I first got there. The school I went to, Missouri St. Louis, we were all about defense. I think going there, I think we had 4 defensive player years in a row in our conference for Division II, which is unheard of.
For sure.
So like the biggest thing for me was defense. I didn't have the mindset of like for college basketball at that point coming up as an 18-year-old. So that's kind of like where I struggled at.
For sure. What would you say the mindset that you had going into was?
I was kind of just more focused on me going into it, trying to score, not realizing like you're here to play a role, and also how much of a business it is. I also realized when I got to school, my teammates were 24, 23, a lot of 23-year-olds, 4th year, 5th year, 6th year seniors. So it was like, and I'm an 18-year-old kid coming in there. So it's like, also I had to realize like the levels that it was to this, and like the guys that have been there in the system for 4 or 5 years, they know what they're doing. And then coach has to trust who he was going to put on the floor. That's what it's all about. And if he doesn't trust that you're going to do that, he's not going to put you on the floor. And he's obviously going to have more trust in his guys that's been there for 4 or 5 years or been in college 4 or 5 years.
No, 100%.
And I honestly like didn't like register in my mind as an 18-year-old. I was like, I'm better than this guy physically. I can score better than him. Everything than that. I feel like I should play. But it was definitely more to that.
No, 100%. So being a freshman on that team, you guys went to the Elite Eight, right?
Yeah.
So you guys went to the Elite Eight. What did you learn from being on such a successful team your first year?
Honestly, the biggest thing about that team, especially, was honestly the relationship that you have with your teammates. I feel like we were all so close as a team that like we all wanted each other to win so bad that we all did it for each other. And that was like from top to bottom. Like we had such a good roster. Like he's had a bunch of, I think, 4 or 5 pros on that team, and the guys that are still playing Division I right now and also still playing Division II. But like the biggest thing, like I said, was the camaraderie that we had together on the team. Like top to bottom, I still talk to everybody on that team and that was what, 3-4 years ago now. So like I said, just us being together as a team and then how hard we played defensively as well was another big thing. I think we shocked a lot of teams when we went out there and they could only score less than 50 points. And then like even as me as a freshman, I'm sitting on the bench watching. I got to learn so much from those older guys, and then even the coaching staff as well. And I've like been able to carry that on to the last 2 schools I've been to.
No, 100%. So how would you say watching the older guys play and lead helped you grow as a player?
Like I said, the way they carried themselves on and off the court, like offensively and defensively, I learned a lot of things. Like I still had to see one of the best shooters I've ever seen, and then another one of the best defenders I've ever seen play on the same court together. So it was like being able to watch that and just take pieces from what they do and and be able to like bring it into my own game has also been able to help me a lot.
No, 100%. So walk me through the Elite Eight run. What was that locker room like with the guys like kicking it every day? What was that experience like?
It was fun, man. Like I said, I didn't play at all, and I still had one of the best times of my life on that team. Like everybody's laughing, joking almost all the time, and then but we just had like a sense of like we knew, or like they knew. But when they got out on the floor, like we're about to go out, we're finna scrape whoever is out on the floor. We're not gonna let them score on us. Then we're gonna go out, we're gonna make the right play, we're gonna hit open shots. And so, like I said, it was just like every game we kind of just had like a good sense of like, oh, this is what it's gonna be, and we had like an expectation.
No,
and,
absolutely.
And that's how practices were ran as well. So it was a big expectation for everybody.
No, 100%. So describe the moment that you got injured.
So I got injured the last preseason shoot around before our Sweet 16 game. So like the guys that didn't play as much, we played 3-on-3 on game days because we didn't get as much run, obviously.
Right.
So get our little workout in. So we're going hard 3-on-3s. I'm driving to the paint like any other day, finna take a little mid-range step back, and I go and I plant, and my left leg just like completely locks and goes in and like back at the same time, and it just like my knee like completely exploded. I ended up tearing my ACL and my meniscus, as well as spraining a bunch of other stuff in there. So it was like, and like at that point, like I really knew like the feeling, I can just remember it like as clear as day. It was just like the worst pain I've ever felt. Like, so I knew like after that, I couldn't put any pressure on my leg after that or anything like that. So I knew I was done. But the worst part was just like, it was being at the end of the season. And then so I knew like an injury like that would definitely affect me for all of next season. And then, like I said, it was a shoot around. It wasn't even like a game situation.
Right.
So it was just really like a bummer for that to happen at that time.
Yeah, no, that definitely was not a great text to get received.
Yeah.
But so go through the recovery process. Describe that for us, like the PT, getting back, like you're hooping up, getting your feet under you.
So when I tore it, I ended up getting my MRI or whatever like a couple weeks later. And then once I figured out like the actual prognosis of it, I got my surgery, I think like a month from the date I tore it. I got my surgery a month later. So then after that, from surgery, I got right into PT probably like a week later. But I had to completely learn how to move and use my leg again. Like I had no feeling in it or anything like that. So I had to the whole process was like not so much obviously it was a physical burden, but like a mental burden as well. Just seeing yourself in that position, like you don't think it's going to be you until you're in that position.
For sure.
Like you always hear about big injuries and stuff like that. But like when I was like sitting in that brace, knowing you're sitting there watching practice, you can't walk. It's like, it's definitely a mental burden for sure. But like I said, I got immediately into PT after it. But I think that like the biggest thing was just getting able to get like the full range of motion back into my leg was probably the hardest thing. But like PT's had me doing day-to-day stuff. Like I was going to PT I think 4 to 5 times a week.
For sure.
Trying to get my stuff back together. But I think it took me all in all a year to get, it probably took me like 7 months to get back on the court, but like a year and probably 2-3 months to get fully back and fully cleared without having any problems or without wearing any braces or anything like that.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, it was definitely a long process, and it was, like I said, it was more mental than physical, because seeing yourself in that position and knowing you have such a long way to get back, and you know like this is a career-ending injury, so like there's always that thought in the back of your mind, like am I going to be the same person when I get back? How am I going to be when I get back?
For sure.
But yeah, so it definitely, like I said, it's definitely a mental burden for sure. But I'm glad I had a great support system that helped me get through it and get around it and then get back on my feet, and that's how.
No, 100%. So the next question I was going to ask relates back to that. Did you ever face any doubt that you would get back to a high level of play, or you were always like, when I get back, like it was always a when?
For sure. Definitely, I can't lie. Like when I first got hurt, it was definitely like not so much of I'm not gonna get back to the high level, or it was just like I was just so unsure of what the road was gonna look like, you know.
Right.
And then, like I said, when I got hurt, I had ended up coming back home from UMSL, and then so I was just doing a regular student at Waubonsee, but I was still I had got in with my trainer Sam, like I said, and that's when we had really locked in on just getting back. Like I said, I was doing my PT and stuff, but I really was able to work on my game, change my jump shot a lot, and then like really lock in. But like I feel like those hours that I spent probably like from January to probably May, where I was really just working out by myself,
right,
in the gym, lifting, PT, working on my shot. That was like the biggest thing where I was able to like see like I can do this, I can get back to it, and that's where I kind of got that excitement of like I can't wait till I get back on the floor.
For sure. So after you got through recovery, what made Waubonsee the right next step for you?
Honestly, Waubonsee, but it was between Waubonsee and another school. DMAC in Iowa was a really good Division II JUCO, but Coach Lance honestly made it really easy for me to go to Waubonsee. I went to one of their games to see my boy Don play.
Shout out Don.
Yeah, he was at
my boy.
Yep, he was at Waubonsee at the time. So I went to go see him play, and this is like middle of the season, so I wasn't on a roster or anything like that. And he seen me there, and he was like, "You're not at school." I was like, "I have a spot for you next year," because he had obviously seen me play in the area when I was in high school and stuff, so he knew who I was. And then from there, I was honestly like, I'd rather stay home at this point while I was still at that time rehabbing. So I was like, I felt like it was the best decision for me to stay home. So I still have my support system, training system. I'd still be able to go up to M14 and stuff like that and work out. So I was like, I just felt like Waubonsee was the ideal situation while I was coming back from recovery and shit.
No, 100%. So JUCO's a grind, as we all know.
Yeah. What
was the culture like at Waubonsee for you?
Definitely it was a big difference from coming from Division II and then going down to JUCO. Like I said, JUCO is a grind. It's people trying to get out.
Right.
Everybody's trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to get seen by coaches. They're trying to get recruited. So I mean, like I said, that's the environment when you're in there. Everybody's trying to get in there. They're trying to score. Everybody's trying to get theirs. I felt like we had a good mix of talent, and then we were able to figure it out a little bit last year where we were able to buy in a little bit, so we were able to win some games so we could all get that exposure. Kind of funneled out towards the end, but you know, I can't really complain. I got back on the court, was able to play. So, but like I said, the biggest thing was everybody's trying to get out. So it's like trying to get everybody to buy into one thing, and JUCO is definitely harder than it is at a Division II, just because of everybody's goals and mindset are so different, and it's not so much like winning oriented, you know.
No, I get you for sure. So how would you say your JUCO year sharpened your game compared to your D1 year? I mean, your D2 year at UMSL.
Like I said, I didn't really play much while I was at UMSL. So my JUCO year honestly was my first year of real college basketball. So like I'm thankful for everything that Waubonsee gave me, because I was able to play for the first time. I was able to go through the season pretty much healthy. I had some knick-knack injuries here and there, but I was able to finish the season healthy. And then I finally got to like I said, prove it to myself that I could play, I could still do it. And I felt like I was still playing at a pretty high level. and then like compared to like I said, I wasn't playing at all when I was at UMSL, and then like I said, the injury, coming back from the injury, it just gave me it was a very feel good experience.
No,
just to go out there and play every night, like regardless of how I played, like I could have went out there and scored 5 points. You see me after games, I was still happy. I was able to play.
No, 100%.
I was just happy to be out there.
Yeah, no, we was at every game essentially, so it was good seeing you back on the court. But you guys broke the Waubonsee winning record.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like?
23 games in a row. It felt really good, you know. For one, doing it at like my hometown JUCO, you know, because being able to, I pride myself in being on winning teams. Was able to win a lot in high school. Won even when I was at UMSL, and then when I came to Waubonsee, I wanted to do the same thing. I had seen they had a winning tradition like the last 2-3 years with the guys that they had. So I knew like we had a good team, and brought in one of my teammates from UMSL as well to come with me. So like I said, we lost our very first game without our head coach, and then after that we just went on a run, and I think everything started to click. We realized how good we were, and then like I said, games started stacking. Went from 10 games, 15 games, 20 games, and then broke the school record. I think it was 23 games in a row.
For sure.
But yeah, it was a great feeling to have that. You know, like I said, definitely doing it for like my hometown JUCO definitely was a good feeling.
No, for sure. So using that momentum from that winning season, how was recruitment the second time around?
Recruitment was different compared to recruitment coming out of high school for sure. A lot of NAIA Division II schools reaching out, and then I had ended up connecting the most with Coach Ashton here at he was at William Woods at the time, and then I had I took a visit out there to William Woods and talked to the staff there, and I had pretty much made my decision at that point that I was going to head over to William Woods. Mm-hmm. They were a super good NAIA school. They were nationally ranked top 10. They had went to the national tournament. They had won 20 plus games just like we did at Waubonsee. So it was pretty much a no-brainer for me because like I said, winning, I pride myself in winning a lot.
Sure.
And I'd like to be a part of winning teams. So I was like, him and Coach Ashton and Coach Greenberg, they pretty much, like when we were on the phone, they were like, yeah, we're here to win. It was pretty plain and simple for me. It wasn't really a hard decision. And then once I found out they got the job here instead of William Woods, it was really like, I'm ready to commit because it's an hour away from home and it's back at the Division II level where I wanted to be at. And then it's possible to, you know, play in that Midwest region against my old school. So it's like, I definitely want to come back and play it. So it was like a no-brainer coming here.
No, for sure. So what does your typical off season look like as far as training?
A lot of time in the gym with my guy Sam Franklin, a lot of open runs, and then skill work every day. Getting that in, I feel like that's probably where I've gotten the best at in the past 4 or 5 years, is just playing against really, really good competition every day in the summer. Play against a lot of pro guys, a lot of Division I guys, a lot of Division II guys. But like I said, that competition, that playing in that live action, I feel like that's where I've been able to get like the most out of it in terms of working out. And then if I'm not there, going up to M14, my old AAU facility, and getting some lifts in. You coming up there with me, getting some lifts in.
I'm trying my best.
Yeah, you know, trying to get in. But yeah, just lifting, getting a lot of skill work in, and then just playing open runs. But then and this summer I tried to get on my running a little bit. But yeah, just trying to stay in shape, get ready for each off season. This is kind of the first real off season I had in college that I wasn't like rehabbing or anything like that. But yeah, that's pretty much.
Okay, for sure. So what would you say some of your goals for this upcoming season would be?
Definitely win. Like I said, I'm really, really win oriented. I want to make sure I'm impacting our winning somehow, however it is to get on the floor, impact winning. Like I said, I like to keep the main thing. So like, I feel like if that's my main focus, everything else will fall into place. I'm not really too in tune to how many points I score right now, what my stats look like. I just want to make sure Coach trusts me that he wants to put me out on the floor, and then I'm out on the floor. I'm making the right decisions to impact winning. Because then, if you're not winning, you know, it's going to be a long season, you know, and I don't want to have to deal with that.
No, 100%.
Sure.
100%.
Yeah,
so, outside of your injury, what would you say the hardest part of your basketball journey has been so far?
I'd probably just say the overall persistent like diversity I had to go through. Like I'd probably say, I want to say COVID maybe in high school. just having to really go out there to get seen. Like you had to be the man. Like you had to go out there and really do it. Like I felt like my senior year, going into my senior year, we played Whitney Young on the main court at Riverside Brookfield tournament. And it was like Juwan Howard was in the gym, McCaffrey from Iowa was in the gym, Illinois was in the gym, Underwood. It was like all the coaches in the gym. I felt like I had a really good game. We won the game, like, and it was still like, oh, I got a few D2 looks from that. And I was like, that's when I realized, like, yeah, if for this to go out there and really get what you want to get, you have to, there's another level that you have to go to. And that was kind of like the biggest thing that really hit me. And I realized where I was at, like my level wise, and then it was like, all right, what are you going to do about it? Now you got to do, when you get to this level, how are you going to make sure you play at this level?
No, for sure. Okay. So what would you say one lesson from your basketball journey would be?
I'd probably say, probably cliche, but stick with it. You know, like I said, persistency is key. Like, there's like the biggest thing I've learned is everything's not gonna go your way in this basketball life. Like, I can tell you that everything's going probably the exact opposite I've wanted it to go so far. But you know, but like if you stay with it, like things turn out. Like I said, even me ended up in this situation. It's probably the best situation I could have ended up in right now, and I'm just like happy to be here. I tell my coaches that all the time. I'm just happy to be here. But like I said, stay with it, stick with it, because the things like when you stay, I've seen a lot of people fizzle out in this game. Like I've played with a lot of people where this is their last year playing, and they're not seniors, not graduating. They're just, this is their last year playing. So it's like you got to stick with it, and like good things come from it after the storm. You know, like I said, it's cliche, but like it's true.
No, for sure. So how do you keep perspective when things get frustrating and things haven't been going your way?
I remember not being able to walk after surgery. I remember sitting in my bed, unable to move my leg, unable to play, having to watch everybody I know play, having to watch people I know I'm better than play. So I just know like how to appreciate where it could be. So like I said, I'm just happy to be here. Like being able to go out on the floor, even though conditioning sucks every day, when I go out there, even though I'm tired sometimes, I'll still go out there and be, you know, myself, and just be happy to be here, because it's like I said, I've been in much worse positions before. So.
No, for sure. So what would you say motivates you outside of basketball?
Outside of basketball, what motivates me? Probably just seeing my family, and then like seeing my family like live themselves out. You know, like you doing your podcast stuff. Like I love seeing like every time you post stuff like that, or like when mom and dad are out having a good time. Yeah, you know, like stuff like that. And then like one of the biggest things that always sticks with me, like even though it's like always about, it always comes down to basketball with me, but like dad always said the biggest thing he loves doing is watching me play. And then like I always see like the joy that you guys have, like when you guys are at games and stuff like that. Like that really like gets me going. Like that really makes me want to keep going when I'm playing.
No, for sure that. You know, we're gonna be at every game, every home game.
You feel me? You feel me?
Coming to Michigan, you know, I got a job.
Yeah.
but all right. You've been transitioning. Well, not transitioning, but this past spring, you coached AAU basketball for the first time with your former program. How did that come about, and what was your experience like doing that for the first time?
Yeah, I coached at M14 Hoops. That's where I played my last year at AAU at. They got a great thing going over there, Matt Miller and Gallo and all them. I started like working with M14 right after I graduated, just going back, working the camps and stuff, working concessions and stuff. And they always told me like they wanted me to get on and do more with them. But like I said, I want to coach when I get done playing. So I knew like at some point I wanted to coach. And then my old coach hit me up in the spring. He was like, yo, do you want to coach a team this summer? I was like, absolutely, I would love to do it. And I was like, give me the oldest team you want to do, because I want to end up coaching college when I'm done. So he gave me the 15U team, one of the 15U teams that they had there. And so that's how that got going. And then I loved every second of it. We didn't have the best record this summer, but like I said, I loved every second of it. Just being able to teach, probably just instill game into other kids, and like seeing myself in other kids, and then being able to see like the product come together and work out sometimes. Like we were able to win a few tournaments, and it was like being able to see like the kids having fun, everybody making the right play on offense, making one more, seeing people win, like stuff like that really got me going. And like I said, I really enjoyed every second of it.
No, for sure. Yeah, it was. I only made it out to one tournament, but it was fun seeing the guys win their tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
So how far do you plan on taking basketball? Do you think you're going to go to the next level, overseas, Division I, stand? What's the plan? What do you think the plan is going to be?
I definitely want to see how far the ball takes me for sure. But like I said, I'm glad I'm in a place where I know what I want to do after I'm done. Like I said, I want to get into coaching. So like I said, if the ball, like if overseas is the route where like I feel like that's what's like best for me, I feel like I'll definitely go overseas for a few years, you know, see what the life is like that, you know, playing and be able to call myself a professional. But if that's not the case for me, then I'm definitely, like I said, the first thing I'm going to try and do is get into coaching. I want to make sure like I'm still around the game, obviously. Like I said, I was able to enjoy that much playing just coaching of just a 15U team. So like I can only imagine if I'm coaching, you know, helping being a grad assistant, maybe here, being a grad assistant somewhere, or being an assistant coach, being on the staff somewhere. But like I say, if the overseas route is, you know, what's in store for me, then for sure. But like I said, I'm not very pressed for it because I know exactly what I want to do when I'm done.
No, for sure. All right, well, let's do a little rapid fire questions here to end
For
us
sure.
off. So who's your favorite NBA player growing up?
Kevin Durant, for sure.
Currently, your favorite player?
Kevin Durant.
It's still Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Why? Kevin Durant.
Easy money sniper, 7 foot, got a handle, shoot over you, don't matter the type of defense. But the biggest thing is his efficiency is my favorite part now. Like now seeing it, like as a kid, it was just, you know, all the scoring and stuff. But now I even like him more as a player just because I see how efficient he is on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like not a lot of people are shooting 50, 40, 90 every year.
No, that's facts.
Yeah.
All-time GOAT. Don't be like Don.
I don't know,
Please.
bro. I don't know. That's hard.
Please don't.
All right, KD. I'll just go KD. I'm gonna say KD just to.
Okay.
I'm gonna just say KD.
He is probably the greatest scorer of all time.
I'll just say KD.
I'll give you that. I'm not even gonna argue with you on that. He's not the GOAT, but he's the GOAT.
KD my GOAT. KD's my GOAT.
There you go.
We'll
There you go. All right. Toughest player you've had to play against?
I probably had to go Jaden Shoot from Yorkville Christian. He went to Duke out of high school, and now he's at Virginia Tech. Real dog. I think he gave us like 30 something.
It was like 37.
Yeah.
You gave him 35 back.
You know, I did mine, but probably Jaden Shoot. Who else? Cam Kraft. Guy, he went to Xavier out of high school. I think he's at Georgia Tech now. I played him at an open run before, but it was like still. Yeah, man. Nick Martinelli also.
I remember him.
He's at Northwestern. I think he's like Big Ten top leading scorer last year.
Yeah, I remember him.
But
all right,
a couple of those guys for sure.
For sure. Best teammate you've played with?
Ooh, best teammate. Definitely one of my high school teammates. I can't say just one person because that's just so hard. But like,
give me 3 names. Then.
All right, if I give you 3 names, that's cool. I can do Darren, Devon, the twins.
Okay, shout out the twins.
I probably won over 150 games with them in total, and then I'll go Deuce. I'll go Mekhi Lowry. I'll go Deuce.
Deuce Lowry. All right. Favorite hoop shoe?
Favorite hoop shoe? Kobe 9 High. You're going to see him this year. Kobe 9 High for sure.
Would you rather get a bucket or find the perfect pass? For the game.
For the game?
Game's on the line.
For the game bucket. I got it. For the game bucket.
The game bucket.
For the game bucket for sure.
Go-to move.
Rocket step, baby. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Rocket step.
If you know, you know. And we're going to end on that. But I'm your host, Mike Robinson. This is my brother,
Yes, sir.
Pat Robinson.
Appreciate you.
And this is another episode of the Mike on Mike podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
You know what I'm on, not much else to say. Girl, pick up the phone. You my favorite, baby. My song plays, your ringtone. Tell you I could do no wrong.